So other methods of overcoming the 528 meg barrier. So obviously there's a 528 meg barrier, and you may see that as a test question for hard drives and optical disks. So other methods of overcoming the 528 meg barrier are enhanced CHS translation, fast ATA, logical CHS and physical CHS, and direct memory access transfers, which is really what they use today. That's the current method. It goes directly to memory and then right to the processor and back to memory and then down here. So there's memory mapping that occurs. And when you write to the disks, that's why it's so fast. It goes right from the processor to the memory, and then just the disk pulls it right out of memory through the DMA. Very fast. Breaking the 8.5 gigabyte or 8.4 gigabyte barrier. Upgrade the BIOS chip. So you might have to just upgrade the BIOS to access those larger barriers, and install a hard drive with interrupt 13H support. Use a software program from the drive maker. So when we're talking about the 528 meg barrier, there was a time when this was an issue. It's not anymore, obviously. We have terabytes drives, and your computer can just keep taking them and keep taking them because the BIOSes will support massive drives today. So the only difference is that if it doesn't, then you might need to flash your BIOS, and then it will. It's just a memory issue. And 64-bit computers can address a lot of memory. Ultra DMA. So we have DMA and we have Ultra DMA. So DMA, again, as a reminder, is direct memory access. It's how we get things to memory without going through the CPU. That's a lot of time there. So if you're transferring a terabyte of data to or from a drive, you're loading a gigabyte file, you want to put it directly in memory. You don't want to have to go through the processor. It's a lot faster. So it can be used on the Pentium, on Pentium motherboards and up, right? So Ultra DMA 66 doubles the speed of Ultra DMA 33. Installing enhanced integrated or enhanced IDE drives. So this is what the cards look like. So you see the serial port up top and the red cable, and then we have the floppy drive behind it, and then the IDE slot behind it. So again, these were daughter boards that you add to the motherboard. Nobody uses these today. We use SATA. You may see a PCI SATA card in your lifetime, but not likely. And server boards, you may see some RAID controller motherboards with SATA or PATA or some other type of connector, serial attached SCSI, something like that. Also, you'll see data boards like this in servers. They're going to be PCI or PCI-X. PCI-X will look like this, and then PCI will be half the size. Again, they're keyed slots. You can't put them in the wrong one unless you literally try to break the board in half trying to put it in. The SATA and SAS drives was the other thing I wanted to mention. They're all plug and play, so you just plug them in and they just work. The SAS drives, you can chain one chassis to another. So you may have a chassis that's attached to your computer. So you may have a daughter board like this in the back of the server, and then you have a SAS cable that you plug in that goes down to an array of 48 drives, 48 terabytes, something like that. Then it might daisy chain out to another one for RAID and striping and things of that nature. They're very fast and they work great. You can buy about 48 terabytes on Newegg for about $2,000. Pretty inexpensive. Other drive settings. So again, we're going back to the older stuff. Multiple block reads, so you can read blocks of data at a time. 32-bit disk access. Again, we know we have much larger serial buses than that. SCSI 1, Small Computer Systems Interface Series 1, Series 2, and Fast SCSI 2. So we have SCSI 1 supported up to 7 devices on a chain. Remember, we talked about that. SCSI 2 could address optical drives, tape drives, and scanners. So they got a little more, a few more commands in the protocol. This is a protocol to say, hey, optical drive, I want you to do this. If it's a command to device X, the device X needed to be able to understand the command. So we have these different series for more and more communication and control commands so that we can use more updated devices. SCSI 2 or Fast SCSI 2 doubled the transfer from 5 megs per second to 10 megs per second. Again, not that fast today. SCSI 3 high performance plug and play installation, simple expansion, advanced management tools. So you have advanced management tools, SCAM, SCSI configured automatically supported or automatically support. So SCSI configured automatic support. That's what the SCAM stood for. Again, we don't use SCSI today. It's very rare. You probably won't see it. Everything's in SAS and PATA today, parallel attached ATA and SATA. So we have PATA, SATA, and SAS. You might see some PATA stuff. Mostly it'll be SAS and SATA. Serial attached SCSI is SAS. And then connect, disconnect commands, tag command, queuing, things of this nature. Again, that's going to all be abstracted. You won't issue these commands yourself unless you're writing software for them. But you do need to know about them for the test.